Hello, welcome to Comcast Newsmakers, bringing you news and information from people making a difference in our communities. I'm Beverly Weaver, and joining me now is Brian Ross, the Executive Director of the Colorado Conservation Trust. Welcome, Brian. Thank you for coming in.
All of us at the Colorado Conservation Trust, thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, you bet. It seems like a pretty basic question, but why should people in this state, Colorado residents, really care about land conservation? You probably have a more attentive audience than in many states.
That's right, and there's a lot of reasons, but let me just focus on population growth. Population growth in Colorado is literally going to change the landscape in Colorado. Babies being born today, by the time they celebrate their 25th birthday, which is not very much of their life,
Right.
the population in Colorado is going to go from slightly over 5 million to nearly 8 million. That's greater than 50% increase in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah.
The consequences are going to be felt around the state, but along the Front Range, the mega city that we've talked about for years and years, which is really going to stretch from Loveland to Longmont to Colorado Springs, pushing much farther into the foothills and farther out into the Eastern Plains,
Yeah.
that's going to be a reality. The consequences to water, to the loss of local ag land, to wildlife, and potentially to the quality of life is reasonably profound.
Yeah, and it definitely is something that I think a lot of people here pay attention to. And, you know, we understand that it really is a balancing act between growth, which needs to happen, and the fact that we do want to preserve what Colorado really is now, which is still part of the West, right?
That's right. The Colorado Conservation Trust is a 10-year-old nonprofit. It was, interestingly, it was founded by business leaders, many of whom were developers, who basically sat back and said they saw the impacts of development and said there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And in the inevitable development of the state, let's make certain that we save certain critical natural and open areas. So that's our mission, and we're true to it to this day.
Right. And you really work with 38 local land trusts. Tell me how this organization kind of came together. You mentioned the developers kind of starting this, but all over the state, you're really working to preserve pieces and parcels of land.
That's correct. And one of the principal areas of our activity is to save the old historic ranches in Colorado. And the dynamic between the local land trusts and those landowners is what's critical. Those old multi-generation ranches are the ones that are relatively undisturbed. But the problem, as you know, is that land appreciation in the state has gone up substantially. Again, a driver relative to population and development activities. And as land appreciates, that creates tax problems for those families that wish to stay in agriculture. As the generations change, the newer generation, seeing a dramatically appreciated value, often faces a very large tax bill.
Right.
Colorado actually leads the country in terms of the conversion of ag land to development of activity. So for those families that desire to stay on the land, we work with the local land trusts, bring in private money, and try and place conservation easements on a property. That lowers the value of the land and in turn lowers the value of the taxes, giving those families a fighting chance to stay on the property.
Right. And in terms of promoting land conservation, you really try to work on many different levels, I would imagine, kind of from, as you said, those families that are focused on it all the way up to state government, I would imagine.
That's exactly right. We have spent a lot of time with state policy. We do an awful lot of research, and so it covers the spectrum from direct activities out with ranchers to providing fellows. One of our signature programs is we recruit young lawyers and graduate students with advanced degrees, and we place them with those local land trusts for a 2-year period of time in which we pick up their compensation. These local land trusts, Beverly, are typically very small, oftentimes volunteer organizations, and if you can bring a bright young person who's willing to stay there for 2 years and allow them to do a number of things, it's a very good consequence for that local land trust.
Absolutely. Where is a website where people can check out more information?
coloradoconservationtrust.org.
All right, very good. Brian Ross, the Executive Director of the Colorado Conservation Trust. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Beverly Weaver.